Hello, what is bravery? What is fearlessness? How do they feel? What are the consequences of doing things under their influence? Which is better? Which is more useful? I think there are a lot of confusion about these questions and answers. When I was researching the definitions and opinions on these things, I came across a lot of conflicting and contradicting conclusions. So let's start with the definitions. Fearlessness is a state of being with no fear. Implications are usually doing something with no fear, but I would not go that far with definition. It is simply a state of being with no fear, whether you do something or do not, with danger or without. I think this distinction is important because we are all fearless. We know how it feels. Right now, you're probably fearless watching this YouTube video without fear. What many of us are confused about and making wrong conclusions is what happens when we go through dangerous situations without fear. Many think when going through such a situations, you're crazy or stupid, that you're rushing to risk without considering the consequences, and that somehow fear is benefiting you in those dangerous situations. Those are common misconceptions. The definition of bravery is also simple, even though I've seen many different opinions. And some people are even saying that fearlessness and bravery are the same thing. They are not the same. We need to be precise with the definitions because they can act as a fundamental building blocks for understanding the world, people, and ourselves. So, bravery is doing something under the influence of fear with the intention of overcoming that fearful situation. You could feel fear and do nothing, which is the most common thing. Or you could feel fear and run away. Or you could feel so much fear that overwhelms you, completely takes away control of your body, unable to move. And that sounds awful. We should definitely try to avoid that. Bravery is talked about much more than fearlessness, because fear is a common thing. Bravery is encouraged, praised, and rewarded. Bravery is simply recognized. You see a person going through a dangerous situation and you think they are brave. In most cases, you are correct, but that's probably just a guess, even though you're gonna realize that. So how do we know someone is brave? Well, they would need to feel fear to be able to be brave. And how do we know they feel fear? Well, sometimes it is obvious when people are afraid, but when it is not obvious, what we are doing is projecting ourselves into their situation. And in their situation, we would feel fear, but that doesn't mean that they feel it. Statistically, they probably feel it, but you could be wrong. For an example, you watch a video of a professional climber climbing a mountain without rope. If you start to identify yourself with that person, you could start to project yourself into their situation, into their place. You could start to feel danger and fear would come. Your hands could start to sweat. And the fear you are feeling is your fear, it's not their fear. The danger you're imagining, it's not the same danger they are in. A climber is much more capable and experienced than you. Climber cannot afford to have fear. If you think they are brave, you're incorrect. They are fearless. I think that most of the climbers are fearless. The ones that do feel fear are probably, that's not probably a fear of danger, it's fear of failure, trying to achieve something or prove something. So climbers need to stay calm and have clarity when going through such a physically intense situations. And that calmness and clarity is what fear is taking away from you. Fear is a disturbance, and when you are disturbed, the ability to use your body and your mind are diminished. When you are afraid, you become tense. You start to tremble. You could start to tremble. You could start to freeze. Your breathing could start to be uneven. Your reflexes could be worse. Your thinking is worse. There are many more negative effects that may happen. So you think fear is keeping you away from danger and making you safe. I think that instinctual fear is just trying to keep you alive. You may listen to it and avoid danger, being safe, but you will not live fully. You will not push your limitations, explore new capabilities, improving your skills, and enjoying life much more. And fear is creating those limitations. Fear is creating walls around you, narrowing your vision of life and preventing you from development. You do not need to feel fear to be able to understand danger, to be able to see danger. You need common sense, honesty to yourself, and pay attention to what you are doing and what's happening around you. You need to honestly admit to yourself when wanting to go through some dangerous situation, whether you can do it or cannot at that time. You need to be honest with your mental and physical capabilities. To be able to do something at that time is much more important than whether you want to do something. And people have been wrong about me many times when calling me brave. And some have called me crazy and stupid for the same things. This happens when they see me doing some athletic feat. I was doing it because I can and I enjoy doing it. I was not being brave, I was being fearless. I do not wish to be brave, because that means to be under the influence of fear. If I would feel fear, I would rather do nothing than be brave. For me, fear is not a pleasant feeling or useful. I wish to avoid it all the time, and I can avoid it. There are different ways to lose fear, but I will explain the one that worked on me. So I heard the phrase, fear is useless, and it immediately connected with me, because I often evaluate what are useful and harmful things. What actions lead to useful and harmful consequences? So fear makes your mind and your body work worse. If you do things under the influence of fear, you will have less chance of success. and you will enjoy life less or none at all. And I want to enjoy life much more. So it makes sense to me that fear is useless. But I didn't completely adapt this mindset. I wanted to think about it. I wanted to really find if there is actually anything useful in fear. So I thought about it for months. I read books, I watched YouTube videos, and in the end I couldn't find any strong argument in favor of fear. So in the end, I didn't lose fear completely. Most of the time I am calm, but when fear comes, I remember the phrase, fear is useless, and I can completely lose fear. This is possible because I want to stay calm and have the full capabilities of my mental mind and my body. I want to be able to completely be in the moment, have no thoughts or very little thoughts, because thoughts are distraction, especially fearful thoughts. And I want to have more chance to success, and I want to enjoy life more. So it is simple for me to decide not to feel fear, because there are so many benefits of not feeling fear. So sometimes I take a deep breath, remember the phrase, fear is useless, and fear is gone after one breath. Then I do what I want to do, whether it appears dangerous or not. I know what is dangerous for me. I am completely honest to myself what I can do and what I cannot do. Even before I take steps, before going into situation, I take a responsibility for any risk, any consequence that might happen, for any injury, any failure that might happen. I know that I will be going through some situations when I will not have complete control. Many things can happen, and if something unexpected happens, if failure or injury happens, I'm able to immediately accept all the consequences and move on completely, because I have already accepted all the consequences before I started going into those situations. So fearlessness is not a guarantee for success or not getting hurt. It guarantees that we do things to the best of our abilities. That's what's the most important. That's all. Thank you for listening. If you thought this video was interesting and useful, share it with someone. And remember, the true conquest of fear is completely lose fear, to be fearless, not to be brave.